Oh,
Right then.
oh, welcome, Stuart. We're always laughing off screen before we come on, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to Series 2, Episode 4, I believe.
Episode 4.
Excellent. Right, we're going to talk today about etiquette.
Yep.
And good manners.
Yep.
And politeness.
Yep.
And we'll see where we go.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll open. I went to Wallingford at the weekends.
Okay.
It was what I would call my first proper show, big show. Although I went to Kaluki at Easter, that was big as well. Yeah. But Wallingford, you know, it's like, well, yeah, you're here. I was very fortunate that I didn't hear one person moan, one person be rude, one person be anything else. Yeah, really, really nice atmosphere.
Good.
And everybody seemed really happy to be back. However, that's not always the case. No. And I am hearing, and we touched on it when we were talking with the police guy, didn't we? That people have forgotten how to be well-mannered. Yeah,
I think so. Or whether they were that way before and we never really noticed, and now we've just heightened that sort of sensitivity, I suppose, to that sort of stuff. Maybe there was that way anyway. But yeah, it just seems, I don't know, out in general life as well as agility, I think, like we've said before, the general sort of feeling out there is it's all a little bit sort of all about me, I suppose.
Yeah, I think there's two sides to the coin. Firstly, I think it's everybody blames the pandemic. Everybody is like, oh yeah, it's the pandemic's fault. It's the pandemic's fault. I think we need to get over that now.
Yeah.
I do massively appreciate that some people are still struggling with the anxiety of coming back out. As an anxiety sufferer, I have a lot of empathy for that. But also, I think people, so yes, people should have good manners. I was brought up like that. But is it maybe that we're being super sensitive to situations? So maybe people aren't so rude, but we're just being super sensitive. Yeah,
maybe. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, so maybe we've got a heightened sense at the moment of whether we've just spent a bit too much time on our own for a while, and then all of a sudden things are a little bit too close or too prickly or
too much thinking time. Maybe people have got too much thinking or had too much thinking time, isn't it? So so let's think. If you're a newbie to the sport, what would you class as etiquette? First of all, so every sport, and we know we're not a sport, but every hobby, everything has an etiquette. To me, please and thank you is just general manners, isn't it? Thank you, Judge. But say, for instance, I was going into a champ final and to a grade 1 handler, their first run of they're ever going to have is probably feels like a champ final. You're going to forget to say thank you to somebody. You're going to forget to say thank. That's not being rude, is it? No.
I suppose you've got to take into consideration the nerves and the excitement, like you say, the anxiety, the things that are going on. For me, definitely my prime focus when I go in and out of the ring is my dog.
Yes, exactly that.
So yes, we may forget to say thank you to the judge or whatever. We may forget that sort of stuff. But it's more the thing for me is more the like I've seen, when we got day parking, you've got your ring party, you've got all the people that are, let's say they've got an authority figure and they're trying to do their job, what they've been told to do. And then you get people sort of ignoring them or not thanking them or not saying please or whatever. So like day parking, for instance, you've got somebody there parking people in, you've got to park in the certain rows, and then somebody will completely ignore them and drive off to another space and park next to their friend because they want to get closer to the ring. And then you got the ring party, when they've been told by the judge to say only allow 10 dogs in the queue, and you walk up at number 11 and they say sorry, only having 10 dogs, and then you get a little bit of that sort of shirtiness about it and shortness where they go, oh, it's only 11, and you go, yeah, but I've been told 10, and then you get a little bit of a confrontation.
I had this yesterday. I'm glad you brought that up actually, because I had it yesterday, and the lady that was on booking people in was obviously quite new to the sport, and so she had been told by the judge and the ring manager that's what she had to do. You know, she was only allowed to put the first 20 in. She was only like, and some of the responses didn't carry empathy to the fact that person, you know, may just be doing as she's told. And actually, nobody was actually rude to her at all. But I'm sure that there were somebody that was gone, oh God, I've got 2 dogs to run, or so if she's nervous, she's going to be super sensitive. So she's going to be like, oh God, and then we've got somebody that's helping that may never help again.
Exactly.
Somebody else has just come out quite rude, isn't it? I think queuing actually is massive, isn't it?
Queuing at the moment, we went to a show the other day, and there was, well, I counted 15 dogs in the queue that went around the ring, and more people started coming along and joining the queue, you know, and you're like, how many? For me anyway, I think that's going to, it's going to wind the dogs up horrendously when you got that many. You've got to wait for that long or whatever.
I have to be really careful as well, because Kip has become quite protective in the queue, and quite protective of himself. He doesn't want people around him.
No.
And I think maybe that's down to show organisers, all right? Because if I'm like you, I'm concentrating on my dog. I haven't necessarily got the time to turn around. I think that I'm quite a nice person, and I'm a bit of a diplomat. So I would say, look, do you mind just giving us a little bit of space? And you know, he doesn't like. And then, but then if I'm like 3rd in the queue, that has to go down the line to the 11th and 12th person. I know when I'm ring managing, I put wings up so they have a box as they go in. And I will only allow a certain amount, but it's delivering it. It's not being spiteful with your words, is it?
No, and I also think sometimes as well, we have, from a competitor's point of view, when you're, we have, I think things have changed a little bit now with the online, with the sort of like paperless system as it was, because there is no sort of checking in list as such now. So when you look at the tablet, it's got the list of dogs, but there's no sort of, you can't see how many you've ticked off until you've gone into it to see how many's left in the queue. Whereas when we had a clipboard with a list, you go, right, I'm calling to 20, I've ticked off 20, I can now
yes.
But then from a competitor's point of view, we're sort of taking advantage of that a little bit. So like I was queuing the other day, they called for the first 20 dogs, and number 84 turned up. You know,
everybody loves a tryout. We've all tried,
which is fine, and we've all done it. Don't get me wrong. It's Sunday afternoon and we want to go home, and it's the class. You go, right, I'm just going to run down and get in the queue before it starts and all that.
Yeah, and I don't care what that caller says.
But if the caller turns around and says, no, sorry,
you have to accept that.
You've got to accept that. Instead of, you know, you can tantrum and moan and kick the grass on the way home if you want to and all that sort of stuff, but you've got to accept that these people are, you know, they're volunteers. They're doing it for maybe a sandwich at lunchtime. You know, it's one of those for me. So it's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to.
Why do we think that it's happening more, or are we noticing it more?
I just think I definitely think we're noticing it more. And I think with the paperless system, we're losing ring.
Can't we just get out and enjoy our sport?
I know, yeah. Ring party due to the paperless system.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. So it could. I don't know how deep we want to go into this, but obviously during COVID, a lot of people had a chance to reevaluate their lives, me included. We were all like, okay, I'm not going to do X, I'm not going to do Y anymore, I'm going to give a little bit more time to myself. So we all became a little bit more what could be classed as selfish. So we all, you know, we all thought about ourselves more, didn't we? So with that, I guess comes, and I'm going to have to apologise to everybody. I don't know what's going on with my iPad, why I keep floating, but it's really awkward. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have a look afterwards. So maybe it is just that people have become more aware of that, and it's become a little bit more all about me. You know, it's all about me. And I do think, I know I'm a sensitive little bunny anyway. I am very, very sensitive, as most people that know me know. If somebody said something to me, it could crush me. If probably somebody said something to you, it probably wouldn't as well.
I suppose it depends on for me, it depends on the run, depends on the time of day, depends on
whether I'm hungry. If I'm hungry,
depends whether I'm hungry. Depends on how well the run's gone in the morning, how bad the run. You know, there's loads of different sort of.
Because we're not really a sport that has a lot of etiquette. Really, there's not a certain thing to do. You know, I guess it's respect. You know, but that comes anywhere, doesn't it? So if the ring manager has decided, you see, when I'm ring managing, I do a call to 20. If someone turns up and I have a look at my queue, I'll make a decision. No, that's fine. You can join the queue. That's fine. No problem. Somebody that's only just started to do it, it comes down, you know, the more we're coming into series 2 and the more that we're chatting, it comes down, I think, to the fact that I appreciate what Paul Hinchley was saying on our last episode, that, you know, regulations stop creativity. However, there is a stance that says that somebody needs to take responsibility. So when they're organising the show, the ring managers need to kind of have a little meeting and you know, with their staff, and not their staff, but and you see, as I'm saying that, I'm like, Jesus, but they're just giving up their time, you know. So I'm ring managing for a couple of nights camping. I don't want to do that.
Exactly. It's a bit of a hard one, like you say, to organise, I suppose, but I can't see there being a massive issue with a 2-minute sort of get together at the secretary's tent on a morning.
A lot of places do it, don't they? And I think the other thing that really gets my goat, right, is sometimes on like social media, you'll see people class people as the elites and class people as the everyday competitors. I absolutely don't agree with that, because and they say, oh, the elite has got an air. I don't class myself as elite, right? I run in champ. I've never won champ. I'm privileged to have been picked on to a British team. I'm privileged to have run at Olympia. I still don't consider myself elite. I'm probably at the top end of the sport. And there are times that I have had to work very, very hard to get myself into a zone that wants to win, that it's okay to want to win, it's okay to want to, and that's just me and my dog and my partnership. So I could probably, if somebody came and spoke to me when I'm there and just before I go in the ring, I would probably come across as rude.
I agree. We can do that when we're focusing on the
and is it wrong to, and I know once again we've gone off piece here, but is it wrong to stereotypically put people into a class of elite and everyday grassroots? And you know, we're not a sport, we're not amateurs and professionals.
But I don't think it's a thing, the grassroots and the elite thing for me. Like I say, it's a little bit of a bugbear, because I look at it from a point of view where going, let's take it as an elite, that they're elite, that the top 10% or whatever that is, that have worked very, very hard to get to where they are. They've put all of their money, time, effort, blood, sweat, tears to get to where they are. So the only difference between them and the grassroots people is that they've put in, or chose to put in, the extra time, the extra money, the extra
and isn't, I know,
and anybody in the bottom 90%, for instance, let's call it the bottom 90%, anybody at the grassroots level,
don't call it that, Stuart.
I know, but any one of those, if they truly wanted to, could do the same.
Yes, I agree. So, and I know that you,
and it's not about time and money.
Universal things as well, don't you? Is that you get out what you put in. So if
Absolutely.
you want
the only
to
difference is that they
succeed,
put in there, they chose to spend their hard-earned money, to spend their spare time, all their spare time, and to spend whatever it is training themselves and their dogs to get to where they are.
Yeah, and you work frigging hard for
and then
it.
the other person that has chosen within their rights to go out for meals with their family, to go on holidays with their family, to spend their money on their house, to spend their money on their car, whatever, instead of agility, which means they're never going to be as good as the other person that spent all the money and the time. It just doesn't work that way. So I don't think there's an elite and a grassroots. I just think there's people that have chose to spend their time, money, and etc. on what they want.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, there's a bit of an echo on the sound now. I don't know what's going on now. Yeah, exactly that. You know, I work hard to do well with my dogs because I like I've said before, I feel very humble towards my dogs. You know, I'm very lucky. That lucky, I don't know. Someone said you're not lucky, you just put the work in. I mean, Beth was very, very difficult, and we still managed to get her to cross and everything else. So I want to succeed, and I don't see that as a bad thing. I still want to go and enjoy it. And quite frankly, Stuart, I've not got, you know, on a Sunday, what would I do? You know, I don't want to get into personal stuff, but you know, I don't go out for dinner. I have a life, but I choose to put out to the universe. I choose to succeed with my dogs, or not succeed. I can't choose to succeed, but I choose to want to do. If I do something, I want to do it well.
Get yourself to the best level that you can for what
with
what you can afford, the time you've got, whatever, you do the best you can with what you've got, get where you are. And if that makes you that level, then.
But I still wouldn't be rude, but I could come, you know, if somebody said to me, you were rude to me yesterday, I would be really upset. I would be massively upset because I go out of my way not to be rude to people. I go out of my way to try and word things in a way.
I've done it before after certain points and I've done my run, I've got the dog back in the van, we've done whatever, and I've actually physically gone to seek somebody out to apologise.
Yeah, I've done that.
When I've gone like, I didn't mean to ignore you, or I didn't mean to do whatever, but I was just focusing on whatever.
And everyone's so passionate, aren't they? You know, there have been times when, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, where I've actually been close to tears. And I'm not going to talk to you because if I open my mouth, I'm going to start crying. So, you know, and then you've got to take
it on a balance. Whereas if they've spoken to you 99 other times and you've been nice, polite, friendly, etc., and then this one time you're not, surely
but imagine
they should then go, okay, it's one of those moments, because the rest of the time she's nice.
But if that person is in a super sensitive moment, so they've also had a shit time and you know, everything else, so they've come up to me, if it's like me looking at me like, you know, oh my God, like Emma's not going to talk to me because like, Jesus, she's been really rude because I'm in a super sensitive mode, you know. So maybe it is just that. I don't know. I don't know.
There's also there's a thing. I mean, if we go off a little bit from the agility, there's some different studies around somewhere, and I follow a little bit of there's a guy, Dr. John DeMartini, who's one of the world's leadest human behaviorists. So he deals with it, and he always says that all of the all of the things that you see in other people are the reflections of what you are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a thing coming out as well. I've seen it on social media that says your dog is a mirror reflection of you.
Yeah, so the dog,
the people around you.
It also the same with the people. So if you see a certain trait, that's the word, trait. If you see a certain trait in a person, whether that be good or bad, the reason that you see that is because you've got some of that trait in you as well.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. And I think sometimes when your mind's nattering inside your mind, you're thinking the way that person is you're thinking, not their thinking. That's where texts are really bad, aren't they? Because you'll send a text, it'll be a really innocent text that the person, you don't know what that person is doing on the other end of it. So that will come across really rude. You know, so it's but we can't kind of trying to bring it back. Trying to bring it back to rude and manners and everything else. We have to remember that why do we do agility? We do it because it's a fun hobby. We want to do it because it's a fun hobby. And that's why all of us do it, even if it's a champ final, if it's Olympia, if it's IMCA. I can't wait for IMCA because I'm just gonna enjoy the like. I'm so lucky.
I say that to a lot of my clients and stuff a lot when we're teaching, and they get, you know, we get stressed and they worry about a show, or they worry about this, or things didn't go quite according to plan. And I always try and draw them back to, what was when you first went to your first agility class, why did you go there? For what reason? And they go, oh, I just wanted to go and do something fun with my dog.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's your first lesson or your 101st lesson.
And I guess for me, look, I get a lot of fun out of being competitive and wanting to win. You know,
I mean, we've got our own agenda to that.
Yeah, you take it really seriously. Yeah, I do. But that is the person I am. And for the very first time at 52 years of age, I'm able to embrace that in me. Because, you know, everybody, as you grow up, like, you know, you don't, if you want to do well in my life, it was perceived as you were bragging, or
that gets me a moment. That gets me at the moment. Nobody's allowed to brag or promote and stuff, and it's just, come on, I've worked hard.
It's okay to say,
I've worked bloody hard. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you know, it's all, like you say, it's seen as bragging or showing off, but I don't think it is. And I put a post up about this the other day, actually, and I said, for the one person that will try and drag you down, there's times 10 that will be inspired or promoting or.
And I think if you're training with a rude trainer, or you're surrounding yourself with rude people, then get them the fuck out of your lives, quite frankly. Sorry,
peer group is massive.
You have to surround yourself with people that are happy for you to achieve what you want to achieve. You know, whether it's right or wrong. I have this with my children, you know. Again, I'm very fortunate to be a mum. I wasn't a natural mum, I don't think. I never really baked and had flowers sticking out my hair and everything else. But, you know, we all have an idea of how do you measure success? How do you measure, is it money? Is it, for me, I just want my kids to be happy, you know. And if, you know, one of them's doing one thing and one of them's doing another, and it's not quite what you see, then they're happy. So what? You know, it's how does this? What's this got to do with management?
It's gone off. I don't know. Gone off. It's completely gone off, which is pretty cool. I like it. It's a bit more natural. But yeah, so going back to manners, I think we're just trying to
bring it back quick. Help me.
What we're trying to say is that sometimes in the heat of the moment, or at a show when things are going on, you will have to step back and just take a second before you say what you think you're about to say. I think that's the thing.
Smile. Why doesn't everybody? So that would be my advice, right? So we're all going to have those times where we forget to say please or thank you. We're all going to have those times where we're going to be extra sensitive that somebody's just bitten our head off. We're all going to have those times, but you can walk around and smile. Then you're going to surround yourself with people.
And also,
we have a sponsored smile session.
Sponsored smile. And also, don't be afraid, like I said, to go and find somebody and say, look, I'm really sorry, or thank you for that, or, you know, I didn't realize you were there, or whatever that was. You know, there's got to be something there. And I think that's where I think that's the gap that we're missing, is that we do things and we might get back to the van and go, oh, I wish I had spoke to so-and-so like that. But I'm going to go.
But you know, and sometimes, so you're a little bit like me. I would think that. I think, oh Jesus, you know, I was a bit rude there, or I didn't mean to be, or I need to go and find that person. And then you'll go and see that person, and they'll be like, "What? Sorry, I never thought."
Exactly. But I think sometimes it just we need that. Like we were queuing.
Maybe we just care too much, Stuart.
Yeah, we were queuing the other day, and we got checked in. You know, they had a caller with the list. They were checking us in. It was brilliant. We joined the queue. And as I went over, I started to go back to the queue, and somebody came down and they just joined the queue. They didn't check in. They didn't do anything. And I just stopped and looked at them and went, have you checked in yet? And they were like, no. And I said, well, I've just checked in. So I stood in front of them, just joined the queue, because I was in, as far as I'm concerned, I was in the right because I'd already checked in.
You right. I was in right. No way.
But then he sort of had that.
But that person may not have known.
But there was 10 seconds. Yeah, there was 10 seconds of sort of, okay, this can go either way. You know, it was like that sort of, And then it was all fine. It was all fine, and when he checked in and they got in the queue and whatever. But it was almost like we were both sort of stood there going, "Well, what's going to happen here?" But we've solved it. We started chatting and had a laugh, and we were talking about different bits and pieces. It was absolutely fine. Whereas what I'm saying is that another person.
So what we're saying, this whole subject is around the fact that you're rude.
Yeah. What it was is that we just sort of went, okay, that's fine, and carried on. It wasn't a thing. Whereas there seems to be a lot of people making things out of it. That's the difference.
Well, and that brings it to the fact is maybe the people that are making things out of it need to get something else in their life, or are they using it because they've had a crap day? So I've done a lot of self-development over the last 7 years, and self-development to me is very, very hard. To actually take ownership of some of the things that we do as people that can be considered toxic to other people, and to challenge that behavior, I think is very, very hard.
Yeah.
So it is always easier to say when they've had a shit run, oh, well, bloody hell, the lead person was in my way, or flipping it, this was that. So, again, that brings us round to training your dog and taking ownership for success and failures and everything else. So yeah, it's I don't know where I was going with that.
I think with the like I say, with the manners and the etiquette stuff, I think it's just a case of
good manners cost nothing.
Just being polite, and if something's not going according to the way that you believe it should be going, just think that the person that you're talking to, it's going exactly the way that they believe it's going. So it's just a difference of opinion.
Good manners and smile.
So that's it's just a difference of opinion. So we've all got a perception of the way things should be, and you've just got to remember that your perception is going to be different to somebody else.
Yeah, and remember that 2 years ago or a year ago, we were like, Jesus, we're never going to do agility again. So it's just kind of like, just get out there, have some fun, enjoy your dogs. Surround yourself with nice people, and deal with your own emotions. So if I've had a bad run, and it's a run that's important to me, if I need to go and sit in the van and cry, I'm going to go and sit in the van and cry. That's what I'm going to do.
I suppose it's being,
and I'm not going to surround myself with anyone else.
No, and also being strong enough sometimes to turn around to a person and whatever, go, just give me a minute.
Yeah. I think when you've been competing a little while, I mean, that's another bit of advice that I would give actually to people when they do agility is don't discuss your runs for the first 15 minutes. Just that time belongs to you and your dog. The amount of times that you see people come off the finish line, I've done it myself. Oh my God,
should have done is
that. It's like, no, the poor dog is just, they're not robots, are they?
No.
And actually I think that's a really good bit of advice actually that I sometimes forget as well, because especially with people I'm training, they'll look to me and I'll be going, well, it's because of this, because of that. Well, actually, what I'm actually doing is giving you a bullshit excuse to try and make you feel better at that moment in time. I need to give you a hug and say, right, let's talk about it later. And that's the other thing as well, is how many people come out the ring and we're frustrated and the dog picks up on that, and then the next time the dog goes back in the ring, it will wee, or something like that. Whereas actually just I guess be kind to yourselves as well, isn't it? Get out of the ring, go for a walk, do what you've got to do, and then think about it afterwards. And then maybe you wouldn't be so rude because you're uptight or angry or frustrated or all of this.
So that's why give me a minute, go back to the van, sort the dog out, go and grab yourself a cup of tea, and then come back and go, right, okay, what were we talking about? People, I think, I mean, I don't know about your clients. My clients know that I have certain shows that I tell them I'm yours, use me, or actually this is a champ show, I'm not going to be available for you, I'm really sorry. It's usually when it's strict running order, because I get stressed trying, should I be there? Most of my clients are pretty good now. They'll actually come up to me and go, have you got a minute? And I'll say yes, and I'll just say yes or no.
My face says whether I've got a minute or not. Like, they're like, don't approach Emma now.
Can you come and have a look at this for me? When you got a minute or whatever.
Stacey and Candice are frigging amazing as well. They seem to surround this barrier around me, and they'll be like, don't go near Emma, and I'll be like, all right.
I'm quite lucky because Becky does that a lot for me as well when I'm
steers you off in another direction.
She'll
but
say,
is that just because we're emotive people? I mean, I guess that you're very similar to me. I've not been around you closely, but you seem quite an emotive person. So everybody would know if you're pissed off, everybody would know if you're sad, everybody would know if you're happy. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I have no idea what you're going to call this episode.
No, not me, but we'll figure that out when we get there.
But as always,
it was good
though. A lot of fun. Yeah,
it was good. It was good. We covered. I think we covered 3 or 4 different subjects in that one there. So smile.
Be kind to everybody.
Be kind to everybody. Be kind to yourself.
Yes, yeah. Talk to yourself how you would talk to others.
Exactly that.
Unless you're rude.
Exactly. Unless you're rude. Yeah, exactly that. Good. Yeah.
Excellent.
Treat people as you want to be treated.
We'll wrap it up there anyway.
We will do.
Naming this one.
Yeah, I'll have to have a think about this one.
Oh, it's been fun. Thanks, Stuart.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. See you soon.